You're watching ABC10 Plus This Week.
Hi, I'm Alex Bell, and you are watching ABC10 This Week. Thousands of employees rallied at the Capitol in response to Governor Gavin Newsom's return to office mandate for state workers. And of course, in your dollars and cents, ABC10's Laura Painter explains how your Social Security checks may receive a significant cut of nearly $500 a month unless Congress intervenes. Then, as America prepares to celebrate its 250th birthday, one local veteran is marking a major milestone of his own. ABC10 This Week starts right now.
In State Matters, it's the first day of Governor Gavin Newsom's return to office mandate for state workers.
Thousands of employees rallied at the Capitol today, calling for more telework flexibility. ABC10 State Matters political reporter Jenny Huh joins us live from the Capitol now.
And Jenny, you've been following this for months, so what's happening today?
Chris, Laura, good evening. State workers say they are still frustrated. Since the pandemic, many have been working a hybrid schedule, going into the office in person about 2 to 3 times a week. Under this new mandate, they would have to go in person at least 4 days a week, so that's a big change. These West Steps here were packed earlier with state employees, many of whom took time off from work today to protest the governor's new order.
This is worker power!
With the start of July came the start of Governor Newsom's return to office mandate. Most state employees must work in person at the office at least 4 days a week.
It's already not going well.
People literally have chosen to set up their lives around these hybrid schedules.
According to the Department of Human Resources, the RTO mandate will affect about 108,000 employees who telework, many of them on a hybrid schedule. Thousands took time off work Wednesday to rally at the state capitol.
We're currently desk sharing as it is, so if they wanted us to come in, where would we go? What would we do?
One of the biggest concerns from state workers is whether there's enough office space and equipment to support the return.
Some of them are being called to conference rooms, and there's 3 people in a conference room. Other individuals are telling me that they're having to lug around their computer and their office equipment every day from one cubicle to the next.
State officials say they're working with departments to make the return to office as smooth as possible. Workers say they're also concerned about longer commutes, more traffic, and higher gas costs. The state auditor has said telework saves taxpayers about $225 million a year, but so far the governor has stood by the mandate.
Nice to see you again. It'd be nice to see you again. Nice to see you again. Nice to run into you in the hall.
Frustrated employees alleging Newsom is doing this for political ambition.
I voted for you. I have stood with you, and now you're not with me.
Would you vote for him for president?
I would not. And that's a consensus that's felt amongst everyone else here.
Is Governor Newsom burning bridges with labor unions like yourself?
You know, relationships are a two-way partnership. If I was looking to the future as a current boss now, I'm not sure I would want him to be the boss of federal employees either.
A bipartisan group of lawmakers are also pushing back. An assembly bill now moving through the state Senate would require departments to justify why employees need to work in person.
It's really interesting that the governor has found a way to piss people on all sides off, right, with this. The legislature has made it very clear that we want state agencies to have flexibility when it comes to remote work.
Now, we reached out to the governor's office to see if politics did in fact play a role in the mandate and why he stood so firmly by it this time and what his reaction is to it finally taking effect today, but we did not hear back directly. For now, live at the state capitol, Jenny Huh, ABC 10.
Okay, it's something we're going to be following as this proceeds. Keep us posted as you learn more. Jenny, thank you.
A new California gun law is now in effect, and the Trump administration is already suing to block it. Good evening, as always. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Alex Bell. Supporters say it will help keep convertible machine guns off the streets. Opponents argue that it violates the Second Amendment. ABC 10 Jeannie Nguyen has the latest for us tonight.
Yeah, Alex, AB 1127 has been controversial from the start, but the bill's author says it will keep schools and our communities safe. Now the U.S. Department of Justice is suing the state, saying this will only punish law-abiding citizens.
We're excited to see that the DOJ is taking the same stance as our organization and fighting back against California's unconstitutional gun laws.
What Alex Wilson of Gun Owners of California is referring to is this lawsuit filed by the United States Department of Justice suing California for a new law that just went into effect.
The author used, potential for misuse to justify banning one of the most popular handguns circulated in America, based on the fact that they said it was machine gun convertible.
AB 1127, authored by Democratic Assemblymember Jesse Gabriel, prevents gun makers from selling any gun that can be turned into a makeshift machine gun with the use of a switch. This type of adjustment targets Glock-style handguns. Gabriel wasn't available for an interview with ABC10, but has been vocal about the harm these weapons can do.
They're small devices. They're cheap devices. They can be bought for $25 or less. They can be 3D printed at home. They can be installed with a screwdriver. And this tiny device, this switch, can turn something that is a pistol into a deadly, lethal machine gun capable of firing hundreds of rounds in a matter of mere minutes.
The DOJ's lawsuit says California's new law is unlawful under the Second Amendment. In response, Gabriel says the state won't back down in the face of threats from Donald Trump.
The court said Americans have the right to use arms that are in common use for self-defense and other lawful purposes.
Governor Gavin Newsom responded to the lawsuit with this tweet saying, in part, the Trump administration is trying to dismantle California's common sense gun safety laws, adding that these laws save lives and will keep defending the laws.
Common sense gun safety laws work. That is something that California has proved.
A spokesperson for Attorney General Rob Bonta says the office is reviewing the lawsuit and will defend what it calls California's constitutional gun safety laws in court. And one important thing to note, this law does not require people who already legally own Glock-style handguns to turn them in, Alex.
A Stockton family is taking their pain to the steps of City Hall tonight. It has been 6 months since a 17-year-old victim, Noah Tracy, was shot and killed.
His family is still waiting for answers, still waiting for an arrest, and today they gathered to make sure his case isn't forgotten.
ABC 10's Gabriel Porras has more.
In downtown Stockton Monday, their voices demand answers.
Justice for Noah.
Even their shirts speak the same message.
What do we want? Justice.
And in the crowd, Bailey Guerrero can't help but cry.
And this is now my reality, and it shouldn't be.
Her 17-year-old nephew, Noah Tracy, should still be here. But on December 28th off Country Club Boulevard,
he was with his friend at a store getting snacks like any other 17-year-old.
Noah never made it home. Gunfire took his life and wounded 3 others.
Noah was innocent. He was creative and intelligent. He was always smart. And as he got older, he had a love for basketball and his friends.
We miss him a whole lot.
Noah's grandmother, Sophia Donato, says 6 months later, there has been no peace. The San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office said Monday that while none of the other 3 victims died, investigators have still made no arrests.
And I just want them caught so that I can't do this to another family. Another family doesn't have to go through what we're going through.
Right alongside the signs that call for justice in this case are signs like the one right beside me here that call for an end to violence. And for this family that has dealt with this heartbreak, this pain for half a year now, that message is equally as important.
You know, it's so many families that are suffering. I mean, how many more kids have to die? They're not caught, so no one's punished, and it just keeps happening. It's frustrating.
Frustration.
What do we want? Justice!
In the voices and on the signs, as this community cries for change.
They say time will only tell and time will heal, but it only seems like it's a life sentence we can't get out of. And we will get justice, and we will keep fighting.
In Stockton, Gabriel Porras, ABC 10.
If you have any information that can help in this investigation, call the San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office.
As part of last-minute budget negotiations, California's Superintendent of Public Instruction is set to lose much of its power next year. ABC10's Becca Hobegger is digging into the change and what this could mean as the November election is already underway to fill this seat.
California Superintendent of Public Instruction, that's an elected office established in the state's constitution. Governor Newsom, through the budget negotiation process, just signed a law that will create an entirely new position called the Education Commissioner. Now, this person will be appointed by and serve under the governor and take on many of the duties of the superintendent, including running the Department of Education, leaving the elected superintendent's role largely powerless. California has 8 statewide elected offices, including governor, secretary of state, attorney general, and superintendent of public instruction.
We think perhaps
Tony Thurmond has served in that nonpartisan role since being elected in 2018. He's terming out, and now 2 candidates who advanced in the primary are vying for your vote in November. Republican Sonia Shaw, president of the Chino Valley Unified School Board, and Democrat Richard Barrera, president of the San Diego Unified School Board and senior policy advisor at the California Department of Education. But the position they're running for just got stripped of most power. As part of the budget negotiation process, lawmakers passed Assembly Bill 181, which creates an entirely new position called the Education Commissioner. That will be appointed by the governor this coming January and approved by the Senate. That person will run the Department of Education, performing many of the duties and holding many of the powers which currently belong to the Superintendent of Public Instruction.
California has one of the most fragmented education governance systems in the country.
Lupita Alcala is executive director of PACE, the Policy Analysis for California Education. That's an independent, nonpartisan research center which made the recommendation for California to create the appointed Education Commissioner position under the governor.
An Education Commissioner would provide a single executive leader responsible for implementation of education policy, and that they would be required to coordinate across agencies and build the capacity of districts and schools to improve student outcomes.
I asked the 2 candidates running for superintendent how they feel about it.
To me, it's a direct assault by Gavin Newsom and the rest of the legislators that are going along with it. This is, he's obviously going around the California Constitution.
Sonia Shaw says she is exploring legal avenues for challenging the new law since the superintendent position is established in the state constitution. Richard Barrera says he's all for streamlining processes, but feels this isn't the way to do it.
The way it was rushed through created divisions among education stakeholders. I just think the entire implementation of this has not been well thought through.
Current Superintendent of Public Instruction Tony Thurmond also said he doesn't agree with what has been done.
I don't think it's a bad thing in and of itself. Whenever you want a governor to be directly involved with education, that's a good thing. And most states operate in the same way. Here's what is a concern: the manner in which it's being done. The state superintendent position is approved by the voters. And I think that's the method in which the position should have been changed. And short of doing that, what's happened is they've created an extra layer of government. So now you have an elected state superintendent who will have very little to do as a result of these changes. And now you'll have this new position that will also be in place.
ABC10 reached out to the governor's office to ask why the law was passed this way. A spokesperson said, in part, quote, "The budget was the proper vehicle for this language because the change requires the creation of a new state organization, the Office of the State Superintendent of Public Instruction, and the transfer of funds from the Department of Education to the new office, as well as a transfer of funds from the State Board of Education to the Department of Education."
It has now been 1 year since tragedy struck in Esparto. A fireworks warehouse exploded, killing 7 people and forever changing the community.
The blast sparked an 80-acre fire and destroyed several nearby buildings.
1 year later, the investigation continues. 5 of the 8 people charged now face murder counts. Tonight, families are still mourning the loss of their loved ones after that explosion.
ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen shows us what's changed since that deadly day. Jeannie.
Chris and Laura, for many, the 4th of July will never feel the same. The pain hasn't faded when 1 year ago, families' lives were forever changed.
It's also the best piece that we could have because she looks just like him. So it's like you look at her, you see him. And it's a good memory that we have.
Ana Lea is Sienna Ruiz's blessing, the only piece she has left of her late boyfriend, Jesus Ramos.
He would have been the best dad, and he would have been definitely her biggest fan. Now that I have her, it's mostly just thinking about the what ifs, what if he was here?
18-year-old Jesus Ramos and his brother, 22-year-old Johnny Ramos, are 2 of the 7 people killed in Esparto. For Marisol Hernandez, July 1st, 2025 meant losing 2 of her sons.
It's hard just to get up every day and
hearing my kids' voice, and every morning they would get up and come to my room and say, "Hey, Mom, good morning."
A family moment forever lost in an instant. The explosion on July 1st shook homes, triggered evacuations, and started a fire. The scene was so dangerous, firefighters said they could not search for the missing. Crews needed days to bring the situation under control. 1 year later, prosecutors say the site housed 1 million pounds of illegal explosives. They say the operation was unlicensed. An alleged decade-long enterprise ended with 7 workers' lives lost. Industry experts say what happened here is an isolated incident and not a reflection on the industry itself. But there are still lessons to be learned moving forward.
It's to take a pause and to reflect and remember, this is why our safety standards exist. This is why compliance must be top of mind at all times.
Julie Heckman with the American Pyrotechnics Association says when the rules and regulations are followed, it's a very safe business.
We have a very safe industry. I think overall the track record for the pyrotechnics industry is pretty impeccable, given the volume of explosives that are handled, moved, transported, and displayed year after year.
In the year that's passed, the 2 companies that operated at this Esparto facility lost their licenses. One of the company's owners, Devastating Pyrotechnics' Kenneth Chi, is also one of the 5 people now facing murder charges. Another includes the property owner, former Yolo County Sheriff's Lieutenant Samuel Machado. He also faces charges relating to child endangerment, animal cruelty, weapons violations, and tax fraud. A grand jury report found multiple people in the county and fire officials knew about the fireworks business and didn't take action to stop it. The county disputes parts of the report, but agrees with recommendations aimed at strengthening county procedures, training, and oversight. While criminal cases continue to play out, victims' families will be forever left with a painful reminder this time of year.
It's hard, it's painful. We just hope that
they get the justice they deserve.
Yes, there will be justice, there will be, and we hope it's gonna be soon. And in all, 8 people were charged in this case. 3 of the suspects have since bailed out. Samuel Machado and his wife Tammy, and Craig Cutright, who owned Black Star Fireworks. He was also a volunteer firefighter with the Esparto Fire Protection District.
And tonight's Dollars and Cents. A new report says millions of Americans could see smaller Social Security checks within 6 years unless Congress takes action. This could mean a cut of about $500 a month. I'm taking a deeper dive into what the data means for you. A new report from Social Security trustees says the program's retirement trust fund is projected to run dry in late 2032. It may sound dramatic, but Joseph Eshelman, the president and founder of Tower Point Wealth in Sacramento, says, don't panic.
Because 80% of Social Security is being funded through payroll taxes, the whole Social Security system is not facing insolvency.
He says insolvency doesn't mean Social Security payments would stop altogether. Rather, it would mean a significant cut in the amount each recipient gets.
What are you interpreting as you're seeing this?
It's going to be painful for probably most recipients of Social Security in one way, shape, or form.
The report finds benefits would be automatically cut by 24% upon trust fund depletion. Social Security recipients could see their monthly income checks cut by $500. The findings could increase pressure on lawmakers to address the program's long-term financial challenges.
There are still time to be making these adjustments. It's just a matter of how they're going to solve for it.
Should Social Security become insolvent by 2032, a report from the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget projects California would be #1 in the country for the amount of benefits lost, more than $33 billion and 6 million residents impacted. That comes to a cut of about $490 monthly for the average California retiree. We talk more about Social Security and retirement strategies in my other Dollars and Cents coverage, streaming now on the free ABC10 app. Email me your money questions at lpainter@abc10.com.
As America prepares to celebrate its 250th birthday next month, one local veteran is marking a major milestone of his own. He turns 101 years old on July 5th, just one day after the nation's anniversary. I sat down with him to reflect on a century of service, sacrifice, and what it means to be an American. For more than a century, Frank Wright has witnessed history unfold. And through it all, his harmonica has been his comfort. It's the same one he played as a young Marine, helping lift the spirits of fellow troops in some of the war's darkest moments.
There's too many dead Marines on the ground. So during that time, I got my harp out and I started playing.
His life has been defined by service, sacrifice, and an unwavering love for the country he helped defend. And as America prepares to celebrate its 250th birthday this July, Frank has a milestone of his own.
I'll be 101.
He turns 101 years old on July 5th.
That's a long time.
That's a century of lives spent witnessing some of the most defining moments in American history.
I did a lot in that 100 years.
For Frank, the calling to serve his country came after Pearl Harbor.
I was too young. I was too light. I couldn't get in.
At just 16 years old, he was under the age and weight requirements to enlist, but that wasn't going to stop him.
I had lied about my age. I bought 5 pounds of bananas and stuck them in my blouse, and that made my weight.
In 1942, Frank joined the Marine Corps.
Pass my patch.
That same year, he was selected for the Marine Raiders, an elite special operations force that fought some of the fiercest battles in the Pacific.
When I went to boot camp, I acted tough, and I was kind of tough, and that's what they wanted. They wanted someone also that had an attitude. I had a terrific attitude. This is a knife I carried all through the war.
He fought in multiple battles and was even wounded in combat.
The first 2 shots went through my right chest.
The formal medals.
His courage earned him numerous military honors, including the Purple Heart with 2 stars.
Nostalgic, I guess the word would be on it, to see some of and feel some of the things that you have gone through and made it.
Last living Raider.
Through war, loss, and a century of memories, music remained a constant companion.
That's me in the corner here.
With his harmonica, or on the dance floor. Does dancing keep you young?
Yes. And you know, I had 50 women lined up.
As he reflects on a life well lived, Frank still holds on to the same values that guided him along the years: sacrifice, resilience, and a commitment to something greater than yourself, then and now.
Honor your Marines, your Army, your Coast Guard, all of them. They're putting their time, they're putting their life on the line. God, thank you. Thank you.
The Trinity Alps is one of those places I've heard about for years. It's a remote, rarely visited wilderness just south of the Oregon border. But because of its sparse information online and the sheer vastness of the wilderness, I never quite knew how to tell its story or where to start telling it. But then I met Shane Dante and his team of llamas.
This one actually has an extra strap for the rear.
Shane owns Trinity Fork Outfitters and leads hunting and backpacking trips deep into the Trinity Alp wilderness. His team of pack llamas carry everything from camping gear to camera equipment.
The wilderness itself is over 500,000 acres, but it's surrounded by, and it's comprised of 3 separate national forests, so it's actually surrounded by millions of acres of public land.
Shane grew up in the foothills of the Trinity Alps, and today he's leading us into East Boulder Lake, a destination that requires climbing several thousand feet into the mountains.
Why llamas as pack animals? For what I do in this harsh environment, the llamas just seem to work for my needs. I don't need something right now that I can ride, so the llamas, they don't need water but every 2 or 3 days. They can go almost everywhere that we can go, or they can go further than most other pack animals.
As we climb higher, the landscape begins to change. The air turns cool and damp. The fog drifts through the forest like smoke, and small streams cross the trail, forcing the llamas into a leaping step. The llamas are surprisingly easygoing. They carry our gear without any complaints and quietly hum to one another as they walk. But every now and then, somebody tries to cut in line.
Oh, look, we got a fight.
Yes, that mist you saw behind me was spit, Shane says. It's just a little llama drama, and it's often short-lived. The higher we climb, the thicker the fog becomes, and to be honest, I was a little disappointed when we reached East Boulder Lake.
So that's it, huh? Yeah, that's it. Right there.
At first, I couldn't see much of anything. But then, after unloading the llamas and setting up camp, the clouds finally broke, and what emerged was spectacular. About the only thing that lives up here year-round are the fish. Shane tells me that East Boulder Lake is full of hungry brook trout that likely spent months beneath the winter's ice, and it doesn't take him long before he hooks one.
Oh, got him.
Water seems to be everywhere up here. Snowmelt tumbles from rock edge to rock edge, feeding waterfalls, large and small. And it's here where I learn what a dedicated wilderness is and why so few people visit.
You legally cannot have a road in the wilderness area. Yeah, so if you're on a road, you're by definition not in a capital W wilderness as designated by Congress.
When I first heard about the Trinity Alps, I didn't know much about it. And after spending a day here, I'm filled with more questions than answers. But maybe that's the allure of this place. The Trinity Alps doesn't reveal everything at once. It draws you in and makes you want to come back and explore a little bit more.
From East Boulder Lake in the Trinity Alps, I'm John Bartel. Hope to see you on the back roads.
Thank you so much for watching ABC10 this week. We are here for you 24/7 on the free ABC10 TV streaming app. You can get your local news, weather, and original stories anytime, anywhere. I'm Alex Bell. Take care. We'll see you next time.
And remember, the ABC10 Weather Impact team is always here for you 24/7. Get the latest conditions anytime with our live 24/7 radar on our free TV streaming app. Just scan the QR code for easy instructions to download the ABC10 app wherever you stream ABC10.